Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on this video. This is David Pendleton, and today I'm going to give you a detailed walkthrough of the Northern Open tournament. As you can see, had a really good qualifying round. Now the good news is this is going to be a pretty consistent play. Minus 17, I think, is right in the area that we can duplicate and repeat. I shot a minus 15 with my other account, and then we built this up to a minus 17. So, I'm going to go through, of course, my shots only with you. So here's the look at the scorecard. The good news is I have hole number 1 figured out as of this morning. So I'm happy about that. Do me a favor. I'm approaching 900 subscribers. I really can't even believe it's that high. So I appreciate your guys' support week in and week out. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. That would mean a lot to me. And if you find this video helpful, please hit the like button, as I guess that's important on YouTube as well. But, the thing is, with this tournament is on pro, it's pretty technical. And I think my game's getting a little bit better. And I make these videos designed to help you get better too. So I don't just sit here and show you the shots and tell you, hey, go repeat this. I try to get into a little bit more detail for you to see what I'm looking at, which will hopefully, one day, help improve your game plan, your gameplay, even in one-on-one and definitely tournaments as well. So I'm gonna hop into my shots only, and we're really gonna talk about a couple things here. I did a lot of legwork for you guys this week, so I wrote down the slider percentages. You can take screenshots of those whenever we get to them, but like I said, this is a little bit more technical of a tournament. So let's go ahead and hop into all of the replays right now. So here is hole number 1. Hole number 1, I'm using an APOC, okay? So I have 2 pro accounts. One has an APOC 4. My other pro account has an APOC 5. And what I try to do in a tournament, all right, when I have different club levels, which most of you guys have different club levels, is I try to make sure that my drive is 100% consistent. So how do I do that if one account has an APOC 4 and the other account has an APOC 5? Well, I find landing spots that will allow the drive yardage to be the same. So I have to back up my APOC 5. So if you look at this chart right here, well, this is how I take notes in a tournament. My APOC 4, I'm putting it at the plus 16 yard mark. So that's basically max distance with my red ring at the right rough line, which you'll see in the video. On my APOC 5, I back it up a little bit. I put it at the plus 10. I know that looks like plus 0 there, but it's the plus 10 with my red ring at the rough as well. No matter what level my club is, I do 2 right spin, 1 bar of top spin at 15% elevation, and I pull both of them max distance of my club. That's very important to note. Now, shot number 2 is going to be a rough bump, and I love using the Goliath. The Goliath, I know you're going to say the accuracy sucks, yada, yada, yada. To me, I would rather have the difference on my ring pulls minimal like a Goliath is. So, for example, here, I'll show you what I mean. So, if I have a Grizzly, okay, and I have a 6.5 mile per hour wind, at max distance, I have to pull 7.2 rings. To me, that leaves a lot of room for error. If I switch this to my Goliath, look, it's only 3.5 rings. And look at the variance between between medium, 2.9 and 3.5. There's not a lot of room for error there to where there is on a Grizzly. Look how long the gaps are. There's a full ring difference between mid and maximum distance on a Grizzly. That's why I like to use the Goliath as much as possible. A lot of people ask me why I use the Goliath and not the Grizzly. That's why. It works out better for me. Maybe it's just my gameplay. But these slider percentages are based off of Goliath, okay? Shot number 2, you have to use a slider or you're going to miss your shot. It's 10% elevation, and we're going to offset on the left-hand side of the cup. And these are the yard markers here. So as you can see, I'm adding 3% for every yard. If I drive, or I'm taking off 3%. Either way, these are the slider percentages right here. So 330, you're going to use 76% slider. And if you're using the Golf Clash Notebook app or Clash Caddy, you can see me moving the slider right here. You would put that at 76%. with 10% elevation, you type in the wind, and you would always use the medium distance when we're talking about slider, all right? So notice if I do 74% slider, it makes it 3.6 rings. Well, what if I don't use a slider? It brings it all the way down to 3.2. So there's a big difference there when it comes to being accurate, and that makes a difference from missing and making a shot. So 331 yards is 73%, 332 is 70, 333 is 67. If you hit it 334, then do it 64. If you hit it 331, then do it 61. So you're basically taking 3% off for every yard you go over that 333. Hopefully that makes sense. Take a picture of that or write it down. Here's everything in live play. Here's an APOC 5. So remember APOC 5, I'm going to back it up to the plus 10. I'm going to do 2 bars of right side spin with 1 bar of top spin. And I'll just fast forward this because this is going to be a 15% pull. And then here we take our shot with absolutely no overpower. We're just taking a perfect shot, and we're praying to the golf clash gods that we hit a perfect ball. Because when you use sliders, you have to hit a perfect ball or else it's going to mess up your adjustments. So just so you know, if you hit a great shot, you're going to be winging it a little bit. Try to stick around the same slider percentages, but it's not going to be 100% accurate. You got to hit a perfect ball. Shot number 2. So here we go. Now I told you shot number 2 is 10% with slider percentage and offsetting, okay? So here I'm using about half a bar of left spin and half a bar of top spin, and that's going to be super consistent every time as long as you hit a perfect ball. Oh, what'd I do? Okay, here we go. Now, I want you to notice what I mean by offset. So look right here. That would be dead center of the pin. But we're going to move this target over until we get on the left-hand side of the cup. So notice how my ball guideline is not touching the actual flagstick pin anymore. It's on the left-hand side of the cup. That's really important on this shot. And I'm trying to even favor a little bit of a left 1159 pull angle when I pull this shot. So we hit our perfect ball, and we just sneak it there into the right-hand side of the cup, which is good. We'll take it. It's a drop. The only thing I'm going to do different now that I have the slider percentages figured out is I'm going to be moving this even more to the left-hand side. So I'm going to offset my shot just a hair more to the left. That way I can get this more center of pin. But that's a really good shot right there. Now, shot number 2, I'll show you 2 different ways you can play this. But either way, they're going to be played the same. I'm just going to show you 2 different balls to play. First one is with the Kingmaker. No matter what ball you use, I'm going to show you a Kingmaker, and then I'm going to show you a Power 3 Wind 5 ball. So we're going to reduce the wind on the other one. 25% elevation, 2.2 bars of backspin, 1 bar of right spin, regardless of the ball you use. And you want to pull this at 1159 pull angle. If you don't know what pull angle means, I'll give you the rundown version real quick. When you go to make your adjustment, like when you actually go to pull your rings, you're used to flipping the screen around until the wind blows exactly north, and then you try to pull your rings and take your shot. Well, as you know, the wind angle, like the wind, right there it says 5.5 miles an hour, that doesn't just stay put. It vibrates back and forth. So sometimes it'll vibrate from north to north right or north to north left, and sometimes it just jumps around pretty furiously. What an 1159 pull angle means is if you look at a clock, you would be reading 1159. So we're going to be eliminating the north to north right vibration. It's going to be north to north left only, which I will show you here in a second. So we're going to line this up, 2 and a click back, 1 bar of right. We're putting our yellow ring at the top of the rough here, which leaves us plenty of distance to clip the rough. So we don't have any fear of not clipping the rough. And I need you to take a look at the ball guideline. Notice how this one again is left side of the cup. That's going to be really important when you take your shot with the Kingmaker. Now notice my wind angle here. Notice how it's not exactly north. It's north to north left. That's 1159. I'm completely eliminating my wind angle from blowing north to north right. Again, a normal shot, and we hit perfect. And that's the camera angle you're looking for, and that's dead center of pin. All right, so this is going to be with a home run ball. So again, this is going to give you more wind resistance, but the same power. Now you can see here, I'm lining up in the same area. I'm pulling with the same pull angle. I just take a normal shot. And because we get less of a wind push, this one comes in a little bit more on the left-hand side of the cup. So if you're playing with a wind 5 ball, still offset left, but just fully inside the cup. So here's how you're going to play a Kingmaker. You can see the yellow ring at the top right rough line there. And then you can see how I have the ball guideline, the tip of it going through the cup, so a little bit past the cup. But really the ball guideline is split between the cup and the green. If you're playing with a wind 5 ball, power 3, you're going to move that over to the right just a hair. And you can take a screenshot of this. And that's where you want to line up your shot with an 1159 pull angle. All right, hole number 3, I'm using an APOC again, and it doesn't matter your level of APOC. You're going to play this the same way. The only thing I want you to do differently is switch this from a Titan to a Kingmaker. A Kingmaker will give you a better chance at the Albatross because it's going to reduce the wind on the second shot. But as you can see, I'm playing this one 4 bars of top spin, and we're going to make this 3 bars of right side spin. So 4 top, 3 bars of right side spin. And then this is how you want your drive to look. So when you go to make your shot, we need to make sure we end up on the fairway and not on the rough. So we have to use curl. So I want you to take your ball and make it look just like this. You see how there's like a sideways triangle to the left-hand side of my ball? You can just have the left edge of the ball touch the left edge of that triangle target, and that will be perfect to line up at. So you see I have it touching right there. And we're on the fairway, no problems at all. And, like I said, switch to a Kingmaker, which is what I end up doing here. But go ahead and do the full right spin. Trying to see something here. Okay, interesting. So I don't have shot number 2 saved. Shot number 2 is very straightforward, though. You're going to play at 20% elevation, and you're going to be at max distance of your sniper, and you're really going to leave the ball guide about 1 green square short of the pin, and you're going to offset it about 1.5 green squares to the left. I haven't hit the Albatross on shot number 2 yet, but I've been really darn close. But this is an automatic eagle as long as you land your fairway drive. Sorry I don't have shot number 2 saved. I don't know what I did there. But, we're going to go ahead and talk about hole number 4 now. This is going to be a must eagle. And it doesn't matter, okay, if you have an extra mile 7, 8, 9, whatever. You can see here that I have an extra mile 9. But we're not going to use the benefits of the extra mile 9, which is primarily a lot more top spin than an extra mile 8. We're not going to be playing full top spin on this shot, not even close. But it is going to be important that you use a berserker. I've seen opponents try to take Kingmakers and big toppers and just try to, in my opinion, get lucky with a really technical drive. I'm going to make this really easy for you. You're going to do 10% elevation. You're going to do about 4 to 4.5 bars of top spin. So that would basically be almost full top spin on an extra mile 8, but not quite, because I think you get 6 bars. So just make sure you do 4 to 4.5. Don't do any more than that, because you can go past the green. And then full bars of left side spin with the berserker. You really need to use a power 5 wind resistance 1 ball on this hole to make this an automatic eagle and to make the drive very simple. I want you to notice how I line this shot up. So there's our 4.5 bars of top spin. There's our 2 bars of left side spin. This right here is what you want your ball guideline to look like. So look at my target. I've got the green ring almost on the rough line there. Now that's very close, okay? You cannot hit a great left shot, or else you could clip the rough and get stuck there. Worst case scenario, go to the water. But this is a tournament. We have to gamble a little bit. And this, will be huge to get the eagle on, because if you saw a second ago, you saw my opponent's icon there. He's in the sand, which is what I've seen a lot of. But this is what we want our ball guideline to look like. And you're going to notice the end of our ball guideline is in the rough. That's okay. That's perfect. We're going to use left curl to get us back onto the fairway and to the green. So from here, we pull 10%. And it's going to be really important that you don't use any overpower on your drive. It's easy to accidentally overpower whenever you use curl. You see here that I use about half of a ball of left curl. And you'll notice I'm good on the bounces. I came nowhere close to the rough. And it just came in a little hot. We actually almost hit a hole-in-one on this par 4. This drive is very consistent. I've hit it every single time that I've taken the shot. I did on Monday try to do like a big topper shot, and I completely failed it. And then I tried to do like an extra mile with full top spin and a kingmaker. I hit a perfect ball. That shot didn't work out, so I decided to go with the berserker, and that is really consistent. It's a great chance to get the eagle. In fact, it's an automatic eagle if you hit a perfect shot and you use the right amount of curl with no overpower. This is just the chip in for the eagle. I know some people like to see that, but that's an automatic shot to make right there. So that's easy. All right. Now we're going to go into hole number 5. So hole number 5 is really weird. This is a hole that I hate. So when you play Tour 10, you get this one for a shootout. And, it's 15% elevation. And, when you get in a tournament, it always seems like a really hard one to hole in one, because this green has a really bad ball guideline. Like, you can never really get a fully developed ball guideline on this hole. So, I woke up to a whole bunch of messages saying that I have to check out this shot that Tommy posted. I was told it was 100% consistent, and it works really well. Well, what he has you do is he has you kind of trick the game. So you start off with a power 5 ball, so a berserker. And then what you want to do is you want to put your white ring on the rough line, which I'm going to show you. And then you're going to switch to a navigator. And then you're going to play this one for one. So if you have 6 mile per hour wind, you're going to pull 6 rings. Well, I did that, and it did not work. I missed the hole-in-one, and it really wasn't that close. So I decided to try the same thing, but do a kingmaker instead, and that works. So I'll show you how well it works. Well, here's what you need to know. All right, you're going to start off with a Win 5 ball. It doesn't matter what with a Power 5 ball. It doesn't matter what Power 5 ball you have. You're just going to start off with that. And then you're going to do 4 bars of topspin. And I'll just show you. So you're going to do 4 bars of topspin and then half of a bar of left side spin. And you're going to find absolute minimum distance of your sniper. So you see how it goes from sniper to my long iron Goliath? You're going to find that absolute minimum point with your white ring on the rough. Then you're going to switch to a kingmaker, which is going to reduce the wind. And now we're going to move this 4.6 rings. And then when you do this right, it's almost a hole-in-one every single time. So, that's really cool. All right, so we'll talk about hole number 6 now. Hole number 6 is going to be a par 5. And I'm not a big fan of the rock, but I tried to do this with an APOC and an extra mile, and I didn't really have the type of drive that I wanted. So a rock is a really good club to execute this shot on. So we're gonna do a rock and a kingmaker, and we don't have to use any elevation. We're playing a pretty straightforward, simple shot here. I'm gonna use about 4.5 top with max right spin. And we're gonna be using quite a bit of curl here to make sure we end up on that fairway area. And you can see here, I'm doing the curl again until my left edge of the ball touches that triangle side of the target there. And we get a good roll. Now, the one thing I want you to know, if you have a fully maxed out rock, do not use all the top spin. I accidentally did that on my other account that has a rock 9, and it will roll into the rough. So you want to make sure you always do like that 4.2 to 4.5 top spin with max right spin, 0% elevation, and you'll end up on the fairway every time as long as you use the right amount of curl. And shot number 2, I'm just trying to aim this one straight at the hole with using 10% elevation. And, I'm about between mid and max of my club. I leave it a little bit short of the hole because we're getting a tailwind push. So that's going to give us a push, once our ball lands. And you can see it's pretty close. So I just got to tinker with that one a little bit. I keep missing to the same side no matter what I do. So I might have to add a little bit of left side spin and just really mess around with that shot. But hole 6 is an automatic eagle. In my opinion, as long as you hit that drive right, you'll be good to go on that one. Now, hole number 7 is going to require more slider percentages, okay? And again, don't worry about my extra mile 9 here if you don't have that, because we're not using the benefits of the extra mile 9. We're not going to be using all the top spin. We're going to be using 4 top, max right side spin with a kingmaker. And we're going to be playing this at 10% elevation. Now this drive, again, is going to be very important that you hit perfect because we're using a slider percentage on this hole. And that right there, let me rewind here for just a second. Hopefully I can do this right. That is what you want your ball guideline to look like. Notice how the second bounce is on the fairway. That's really important. It's really close to the rough, but it's on the fairway. And then from here, we're going to be using curl. I'm going to be using curl until the left side of my ball touches the inside of that target zone right there. And you can rewind that to hopefully that makes sense. But we need to hit a perfect ball because we're going to be using slider percentages again. And these slider percentages that I wrote down for you, which we'll see here in a second, are going to be with a thorn 8 and 9. This has been a really consistent shot for me as well, with using about 1 bar of backspin. But it does require you to offset as well on the left-hand side of the cup. So look how my ball guideline is on the left-hand side of the cup. It's not touching the pin. And we get that one to drop dead center. And I've hit this one a couple times. Again, there's where you want to aim. Left-hand side of the cup. That's really important. Take our shot. Hit a perfect ball. And we're right into the cup again. So that's a really good shot. Okay. And here's how we're playing that hole. So again, 10% 4 top, max right. Curl ball to the left edge of the ball, touches the inner right target. You can rewind the video to see if that makes sense. And there's shot number 2. So 10% offset, left end cup plus slider. So the check marks means those are the eagles that I've dropped from those yard percentages. As you can see, when I hit it 369 and I used 43% slider, I rolled the right edge of the cup. But that was my first attempt actually at this hole, and that's because I did an offset to the left. So that's how I learned from that mistake. And then basically you're adding 2% for each yard. So, if you hit your drive, 364 yards, you'll play at 53%. If you hit your drive 372 yards, you'll play at 37%. But, take a screenshot of that. All the math is done for you. It's right there, ready for you to copy and take. Okay, I'll be honest with you here on hole number 8. I'm going to show you the hole-in-one. So I messed around with this shot quite a bit on Monday, and I was trying to play a rough bump, which was not going well at the top of the rough there. So then I tried to play like a Goliath from back here, because I've already said that I like to use the Goliath. Wasn't even close. So, I switched to the Grizzly really for the ball guideline and the accuracy. And I tried to line like the ball up into the pin, and the thing missed way to the left-hand side. So here's ultimately what I settled on, okay? About almost 3 bars of backspin, but not quite, and half a bar of right side spin. And I kind of took screenshots throughout the qualifying rounds because I started to get close. So that was exactly where I was looking to land. And as you can see here, I pull this one. I'm playing at 10%, and I'm playing it at max distance, even though I'm not at max distance. I don't use any curl or anything like that, and I just take a normal shot. And we got this thing to drop, and it was even dead center. But I will tell you that this has not played 100% consistent. I've only made this one time. And the times that I miss doing the exact same spin adjustments in the exact same landing zone, it misses to the left, but barely. And I'm doing the same pull angles, so there's no variance there. I think, and I'm not 100% positive, I think we need to add a little bit of right curl to this shot. But, if I would have added right curl to this shot right here, then I wouldn't have got the hole-in-one. So at the end of the day, I'm not counting on hole number 8 as a really good hole-in-one opportunity unless you guys and gals, see something different that you can send me. But I did get lucky there, and I got it. But I don't think it's 100% on. Okay, now we're going to talk about hole number 9. And hole number 9, I actually put a separate video on YouTube on because it's a very, very good opportunity for an Albatross. In fact, I've hit it, I want to say, 5 out of 6 times with perfect balls. So this is probably the most consistent I've been with an Albatross in a pro tournament. And I know this is really going to help you guys out. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Please hit the like button. And if you're generous and you want to donate to my channel, these things take a lot of time to make, and I try to make them as detailed as possible to help you improve your game. You can donate to my channel. Just look in the comments section on how to do so. I'll put a link to my PayPal there. If you don't have PayPal, you can hit me up on Facebook. I have Venmo, I have Zelle. I have other ways for you guys to support my efforts, but I really appreciate you guys' support week in and week out. So here's what we're going to do. Again, don't worry about my extra mile being a level 9. We're not going to use the benefits of that at all. We're actually going to be playing this one at 10% elevation, okay? And we're going to only use 4 bars of top spin with 1 bar of left spin, and we're going to put our red ring up on the left-hand side of this rough. So let's watch it. 4 top, and then 1 full bar of left side spin. And there's your landing spot. Plus 16-yard mark, red ring at the left-hand side of the rough. As you can see, we don't have a lot of room for error on the drive, so don't hit a great right. If you're going to mess up, make sure it's a great left. But, we don't use any overpower. We take a normal shot, and we're on the fairway. But we want to be on the right-hand side of the fairway, which is why I didn't leave any room for error there, okay? Now, shot number 2 is going to be played 1 for 1 on the wind. So you see how we have 6.5 mile wind? we're going to pull this 6.5 rings minus 0.1. So we're really going to pull this 6.4. If we had 7.2 wind, we would pull it 7.1. If we had 5.5 wind, we'd pull it 5.4. So whatever your wind is, minus 0.1, all right? And it's going to be about 1 bar of top spin every time. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. I'm going to move my club around until I find this. There's almost like a little sticking point, like right here in this area, to where the ball guideline doesn't move around too much when you move your target. Now, it's going to be important you take a look at this. My second bounce is in the rough. So we have to clip this rough. If we don't clip this rough, we could be in trouble, but I don't think too much trouble. But we are offsetting again. Like I said, this is a technical tournament. We are putting our ball guideline on the right-hand side of the cup. And then we pull our rings, which we can fast forward through there. And we take a normal shot with no overpower. You cannot overpower this shot or you're going to miss clipping that rough. But we clip the rough and we roll into the cup for an albatross. So, I'll show it to you again with another account. But like I said, this has been extremely consistent. So we're going to put our top spin on. And we're going to set up on the right-hand side of the cup, but in the cup. So there it is again. And then we pull our rings. We take a normal shot. And we clip the rough, which slows the ball down. And we're dead center of the pin again. So there it is. I really hope this helps you guys out. Please subscribe. Please hit that like button. And have a great